What's up, everyone? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today's topic is another one in the Twitch series. This one's going to be a little bit more freeform, a little bit more rambling. Sorry already, I'm sorry up front. Look, today's topic is getting rejected. It's a topic that you're gonna have to face as a content creator. The more you do it, the more you're gonna get rejected. And what I mean by rejection is with when you apply for partnership with Twitch, when you apply for sponsorship with different companies, and if you are going to apply for partnership with game developers, there is a very high chance you will be knocked back. I want to talk about how to go about reacting to that, and what not to do, I guess, and how to think about it. So let's tackle the Twitch partnership. Twitch, was it last year? Year before? Anyway, recently, they introduced the Path to Partnership achievement. They introduced the whole achievement thing, and they added Path to Partnership. Now, personally, I don't think that was a great idea. I think that has caused a lot of people a whole bunch of confusion, and I also believe it has given people a false a goal that they may not have gone for otherwise. Back in the old days when I started Twitch some 5 years ago now, partners, it was an unknown art as to how you became a partner. There was rumors going around at the time that you needed 300 plus viewers, average viewers. It was all speculation, and it was the black arts of Twitch. Then they put it front and center, and they put it at 75 average viewers over 30 days to hit that Path to Partnership achievement. And a lot of people see that, and it's somewhat achievable for don't want to say it's easy, but it's a lot easier than 300, right? Which was the old thinking back a few years ago. So it's given people this goal that they may not have necessarily looked at earlier, as early as they would. Okay, so a lot of people managed to achieve the box, tick the box, and also it was when I believe it's changed now, but when it was first implemented, if you got a big host, it would tick you over the top. You'd get, for that month, you'd be above 75, and you had the achievement and you were good. But that's not how it works, right? You need to have organic growth to have that viewership to qualify. So the issue is a lot of people get the achievement and then immediately believe they should get a partnership, and so they apply, and Twitch says, keep trying and try again later, because no good, not this month, not this time. And people try again and they get knocked back again, and this is normal. Everybody goes through this. Everyone keeps getting knocked back. It's how you react to that rejection. And I know a lot of people who they're that close. They are that close. They've been working really hard for many years, or many months, if nothing else. And they're that close to getting it. They've hit the achievement and they've applied, and they get knocked back, and they apply again, they get knocked back, and they get disheartened, and then they lose it, and they quit. They throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they're done. And you were that close. So first point is don't give up. Don't give up, especially if you've worked hard to get to a certain point. Don't give up, and don't go off the deep end. And what I mean by that is don't get defensive, don't get upset, don't get angry, and then lash out. I've seen a few people lash out, and all that does is hurt your chances in the future. And what I mean by lashing out is making these, rants and raving videos on YouTube where, I deserve it because I hit the achievement, and I've done this and I've done that, and I'm, I've got so many people who say I should have it, but I've got partners over there, Twitch partners, who told me that I should have it because I've got a good channel, and blah, 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 whatever. Twitch isn't going to see that in a positive light, or any company, right? They have a process. we're not privy to the process, right? We're not entitled to know what their process is. People feel that they should know, and because it's listed on the website, and I've hit the box, I've hit the qualification requirements. We'll come back to qualification requirements and what that word means, because it seems people forget what that word means. But once you hit that, we're not entitled to know what happens in the back end, what selection criteria goes on. And I like to think about it like any job. Just because you hold a qualification doesn't mean you can walk into any organisation and say, hey, you're looking for an accountant, I'm an accountant, here's my qualification, give me the job. That's not how it works. And then when they say, when you apply and you get knocked back, and you say, well, I want you to tell me exactly why I didn't get the job. Most times you won't even know you didn't get the job, you'll just assume you didn't get the job because they didn't contact you and say you did get the job. And so with any job, you have the qualification and you keep applying and applying and applying until you get the job. You need to keep tweaking your resume. You need to keep getting more and more experience. And then when you finally meet the criteria that organisation has, boom, you get the job. And this is the same thing with Twitch partnership or sponsorship with any company. A lot of companies will have listing as a minimum requirement, as a guideline. If you don't even come close to this, don't worry. And then some people will say, well, I've seen such and such who has a sponsorship with that company and they don't meet those requirements. Well, guess what? That's between that person and the company. It's not for you to sit there and nitpick. It very well might be, going back to the job analogy, it might be that, that person has some talent that the company sees and they're willing to take that chance and lower their standards and get them in because they know that they're going to grow with them and they're willing to invest the time. It's not for you to sit there and nitpick and say, oh, well, they got it, so therefore I should get it. It's not the way of the world. So it's okay to be disappointed. It's a true test of your character on how you react to it. My story is when I was applying for Twitch partnership, it was just before the Path to Partnership achievement came in, and I'd been applying. I had decent numbers, and I'd been applying every other month, and I kept getting knocked back. I kept getting the canned response email saying, not this time. Keep working and whatever. And yeah, it's disheartening. But to me, that was that pushed me even harder. And then one time I recall the email was different. The rejection email was slightly different. And I got really excited. I said, oh, I'm close. Because this one it's not the go away. This one was keep working at it. We're seeing that you're growing and keep working at it. And this may have just been another canned response, but that drove me forward. So you got to take the rejection and use it to fuel you to go forward. One thing I'll say is, if you keep getting rejected, every time I got rejected, I went back and looked at my content and tweaked things. I tried to, make sure my content was the best quality I could make it. Audio was great and the visuals were great, and my content was engaging, and my numbers were growing. So I made sure all of that was happening. If you get knocked back for a sponsorship, think of it from the sponsor's perspective. What would they be looking at or looking for in a potential partner? We live in a world where negative PR is massive and outrage culture is huge, and it doesn't take much for somebody to go, to trigger mass outrage on the internet. So if your content is edgy and doesn't align necessarily with that company's values, you got to think about that, because that might be a reason. They won't say it, but if they think your content might cast a negative light on that organisation, that might be enough to never get you a partnership. If we get rejected, do yourself a favour and look at whether or not you're a good fit for that company. Just because you want it doesn't mean it's a good fit for you or for them. So have a look at that, and do not, under any circumstances, go off and make a ranting tirade video about how they suck and their requirements are rubbish and blah, blah, and this person got it and that person's got it and they told me that I should get it. It's all irrelevant. It's not for us to say who they choose. I mean, it's their own discretion on who they choose, if they choose anyone at all. Companies aren't obligated to run these programs. They do it as a business decision to promote themselves. So if you ever get rejected and then lose your mind and put out these crazy videos, all you're signaling is, first of all, the company that you're trying to convince in that crazy video is never going to look at you, and they're going to look around and say, see, we made the right decision. That person's crazy. So what your goal is with those videos is never going to work. Secondly, that video being out there on the internet, any other prospective company you might engage down the road will have a look at that and then say, well, this person isn't the right one for us either, because they got rejected and they lost their mind. So keep in mind what you're trying to do. I get that you're frustrated. I get that it's disappointing, and especially when you work really hard over a long period of time and you think, you know what, I've ticked all the boxes here. I'm a shoo-in for this. I should get it. Even if you don't, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't go off the deep end, because all you will do is, like I say, hurt your chances down the road with other organizations. But I understand the reaction. I get it. I do get it. It is very disappointing. Now, I just want to talk on this qualification, which a lot of the websites for sponsorship, partnership, whatever, they talk about qualifying criteria, and people miss the qualifying criteria. There's a difference between qualifying criteria and actual program criteria, okay? So what you see on the website will be the minimum requirements, or the qualifying criteria, as in what you need to do to qualify for the program, whatever the program might be. Now, once you're qualified, you don't need to live up to those criteria anymore. Then there is the program's criteria, which could and often are extremely different to the qualifying criteria. A lot of people see the qualifying criteria and then go, well, that person's not doing that. That person's not doing X, Y, and Z, but it says so on the website. But you don't know. They may have done that to qualify, and then the agreement criteria could be entirely different. You're not privy to the agreement criteria because you're not a partner. So going off on making tirade videos and saying, oh, well, they don't, and picking out people who don't, in your mind, qualify because they're partners and they may not be doing what the qualification criteria calls out for. They may be doing just fine according to the program criteria. Now, you don't know the difference because you're only seeing the front end. Now, that word qualifying means it gives you the opportunity to apply. It's not the program criteria. It's not, if you do this, you will get in on the program. This is just a ticket to apply. And the ticket to apply does not guarantee you the actual role. So I get that you can be disappointed. My advice would be, look at your content. Does it align with that company's values? It's very important in 2019 that you align with the company's values. Now, if it's different to what you're going for, if you're going for edgy and that's fine. I'm not saying change your content, but that program may not be for you. So you got to try and align yourself with companies and organizations that do align with your values, and your content will be a good fit for those organizations. There's varying degrees of this. And if you get knocked back, try again. Keep working at it. Adjust your content and go again. Don't just go again the next month when you've changed nothing at all and then go, well, they're not telling me what I need to change. They're not obligated to tell you what to change. They would have hundreds and hundreds of applications every day, and to go through everybody and say, you need to change this and you need to change that, it's a big task. Now, just because they told somebody else what they need to change doesn't mean they're obligated to tell you. You're okay to ask. Feel free to ask them and say, can you please give me some guidance on why, can I change anything to get closer? But don't expect a response. If you get one, bonus. If you don't lose your mind. You're not owed a response. They're not obligated to give you one, okay? So just remember that there's a lot of business stuff happening in the background, and there's a lot of people applying. It may just not be your time. They may have too many people in that region. It may not work for advertising. Could be hundreds of reasons. We don't know. Don't let it get you down. Rethink what you're doing. Adjust your content as much as you're willing to. And if your adjustment isn't enough for that company, then that company is not for you. Move on. Go find another sponsor, another partner. Don't don't put out these ranting videos. I've seen it on Twitter. Don't go nuts on Twitter and start abusing people and go, oh, you guys suck, you know, your program's rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Don't do any of that. All that's going to do is hinder your application with the next company down the road, because once it's on the internet, it stays there, guys. All right, my friends, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I want to reach out to you guys and ask, I want to start doing a series on your questions, because I'm sort of putting out my ideas and I just like to have this discussion with you all. But around Twitch and around, we've discussed the technicals and how to grow your channel and all sorts of stuff we've gone through. But if you guys have any topics you're interested in, or questions, even if they're not big topics, please leave them down below in the comments. I'm going to go through them, and what I want to do is get them all, and you know, if there's enough of the smaller questions, I'll just do a rapid fire response to all these questions. If some of these questions are a bit more media, I'll make dedicated videos too. But I need some help from you guys, so please leave a comment down below and let me know what you're interested in discussing here around Twitch. You know, that would be a massive help for me, and hopefully I can then help you guys with some insights. Anyway, until next time, friends, please do the thing, give it the thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't done so. I will see you all on the next one, and don't forget, check us out on Twitter and Twitch and even Discord. All the links are down below. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. See ya.